She doesn't look like Bam. That's his hole. Because Bam's being an asshole this morning. He is standing down there at the other side of the bridge, discussing the facts of life with, what is there, 8 heifers and 1 younger bull. Old Wally down there. Where the rest of these ladies been waiting. Dino, shut up. Yeah, you make too much noise. You look like shit. You should comb your hair. You get a haircut. And the big girl, she still likes this side. I don't know why. She can't figure out how to go on the other side to get grain. She was standing in here waiting for me this morning. And you know that's not where you get to eat, bud. And Boomer, she knows that's not where she eats. Like they just walked up in this side because I'm sitting here on the bucket for these girls. I finally found Bam where he's at. I couldn't see him from over that way. Well, maybe he's laying below the barn because he wasn't in the feed barn. Finally found him when I got out to the gate right out there. Also noticed that gate was unlatched. There's a chain that wraps around the black post. Here, I'll zoom you in. Those posts are actually all 3-inch water pipe. And the far one, since it's got the temporary fence on it, the easiest thing to do was slip a chunk of culvert over the top of it and just tie the rope wire to it. So that's what we did. So that's what it is. And the chain on that gate is just long enough to wrap around there and hook. Yeah, chain's laying there. Gate, the wind will blow it open. It generally stays in the closed position. So somebody didn't hook it. And Thailand said she'd found it unhooked before too, and I know the cows can't unhook it, so I didn't do it. Look at that. There's a little left to mama. It's not all one-sided, right? It's reciprocated. But anyway, the only way I'm going to shut him up is to feed him. And these girls have been very patient. I kind of thought maybe Dumbass would work his way up here, but no. So I'm probably going to have to take a bike down and run the heifers away from him, so maybe he'll leave them alone. Because, you know, that one yellow tag out there, she likes to stand by the bridge every morning. Probably one of them in heat. Just hope he doesn't do anything stupid down there. Okay, I'll feed you. Well, Brent, there she is. I was hoping she was going to be one of the 3 at the gate this morning, but she was not. I didn't see her until I was underneath the catwalk over there. That's when she finally popped her head up. But you get her drinking. Yeah, there's 4 babies in here. Get them coming in and get a little grain. And the bulls are dumbasses today, by the way. Why? Dino knows that's not where he eats. He eats right at the other end of this trough. Out of the pan that I slipped through the gate. He's there with Big Girl. They ain't figured it out. And Boomer, she came over here. She knew where to go to eat. It was kind of funny. I climbed up there and there was a mass exodus from where Dino's standing down there to come over here. There was, what, 6 or 7 cows that were in there with Dino that all left. But in the meantime, Dino and 2 cows stayed over there. Yeah, not my problem. So really, I don't have to be sitting here waiting for him to finish his grain, because if he's not over there, I'm not putting it in there. Yeah, kind of like Bam didn't get to eat this morning. Neither did Wally, because he just eats far enough to bring his girls up to have breakfast. Lunch, whatever, yeah. Way too early for lunch. So, and messaging with Brent since, I just had to show him Ruby, right? Yes, we were going to go to the hayfield today. I don't know yet. We got equipment to get ready. But, usually it all gets ready before we start cutting, or at least mostly ready. There, Minnie Moo. That roadway through the little three-corner piece, I got to get that straightened up. It's one thing to run the tractors and equipment off to the side of that, but I'm not running the truck off to the side of that, and I can't run it through there. I'll tear the frickin' fuel tank and oil tank off if I do that. So that's my story on the day. We'll see what the day brings. Really, I could just go find a comfortable spot and chill out, but that ain't gonna happen. A little chillier this morning too, 43 degrees. So, and they changed their mind for today too. The last thing was today was going to be like 68 or 70, and oh no, now it's going to be 77. Yeah, I just don't see the real cool down yet. That's Ruby's kid. Sapphire. Sapphire, hey, head up or down a little bit. The bar's in the way. There we go. Check it out, Blue. She is a good-looking calf. Her namesake, her aunt, was a damn good-looking calf. And for those that you don't know, Ruby and the original Sapphire were twins. And unfortunately, Ruby's the only one that stuck around. And Ruby is the only one out of that particular bull that is still on the place. She's the only one out of that bull that milked. The rest of them didn't. Figured I'd show you. Look at that Dino sleeping like a baby. And Bam Bam out here enjoying his girls again instead of annoying the others. That's why we're going this way. And yeah, this is a little steep, but it is what it is. And we usually, it's been years since we've really weed-eated any fence lines. It used to be, find some dumb young kid, set him out here with a 5-gallon can of gas and a weed eater. Ty's gonna go ahead and do that line there. And she'll probably end up doing this center line. It needs to get done. This one here, they've been eating over the edge of it enough, there won't be much, but like that one and that one, it needs to be both sides. So, just gotta let her get the gate open. My stuff actually looks like it's drying down pretty good, which surprises me, but then it got, 10, 12 degrees warmer than it was supposed to have been yesterday. They think they're going to go somewhere. They're not. Why she's having a hard time unhooking that? All she had to do is lift the left gate just a little bit and then slack the chain, and the chain can come undone. Well, I've almost got 6 rounds done. Unlike last year, the dip over there pulled her down pretty good. Most of this actually looks pretty good. Last year and this year, I'm going to say it's way better than it has been in the last 6 or 8 years anyway. That's how far Ty's made it from the gate. Not too awful bad. She's been having trouble with it wrapping around at the bottom. Every time I'm over here and I can see her, she's got to stop and clean it off. And incidentally, 4 years ago, we had the center fence out of here because it was just shit. We got it took out and actually cut this whole thing in one piece 2 or 3 years in a row. But June 8th of 2019, after a little prodding from Andy Detweiler, our farmer, rest in peace, buddy, I made my first YouTube video. I was about 2 or 3 rounds in and right over in here when I started it. Funny how you remember some things. Well, anyway, round and round I go. Everything's going good. Crows are playing around right behind me. Maybe they're going to find something in this field. I didn't see him get anything in the other two, so one on the ground, maybe he's going to find something. Somewhere out here, there's a pretty good clump of manure. One clipped off one of the spreaders up here, never got spread out. My plan was, into January, first part of February, we had a decent dry spell. My plan was to bring the pasture harrow out here because, I mean, the grass was only, 3-4 inches tall, and run over all this, knock the mole hills and gopher hills down, and smear the manure around that it got plopped in the wrong spots. And that didn't happen, so at some point I'm going to find it. It's going to go through the mower. It's going to be in the hay. I've seen some little chunks of it. Usually, you'd never find that in the hay later. But the only time I remember finding any in the hay was when we still had the neighbors over there. And the cows got out like the day after it was cut. And they literally crapped their way across the field. And we found lots of manure in that. But when you got too much or you got it spread and you got clumps out here, you very rarely see any of that in the bale. Well, anyway, go round and round till I'm done. How square is your field? That's the middle. Yeah, I don't know if Ty gave up for a little bit or if she ran out of battery in that electric weed eater, but we've actually got quite a bit done. There's a couple 100 feet, I guess she got. It's about 1.5 to 2 feet on each side of the fence, so 3 to 4 feet wide. And as soon as I'm done here, it'll be time for lunch. One thing I dislike about this machine, when you're doing corners, or even if you get over a little, this edge catches. And I've had it catch enough that it actually lifted the mower up off the ground. We never had that issue with the John Deere, but we don't have one of those anymore. I'd like to go back to one. Although, this has its advantages over the ones we used to have. It's a lot easier to work on. But I think the new John Deeres probably are too. So anyway, and I never did find that big clump of manure. Should have been right over in there. So obviously, the rain, since it got tall enough to not be able to see it, got it melted down pretty good. I mean, there were still chunks here and there, but 8-10 inches in diameter. I have no idea how high they would have been. And there is a hawk flying. You probably can't see him. He come down earlier, and looks like he's still got a chunk of hay dragging, so he's got to have something on him. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, he come down earlier, looked like he got a good-sized gopher. Yeah, he's got a hole or a mouse by the looks of it. Maybe he's looking for something bigger. I don't know. A little fuzzy, but she's out there. She's made it a little ways farther. Why she's out there in the heat of the day doing it, but stubborn, I guess. This thing's in here, and that tire, good used one we put on a couple years ago. Why? Because the other one split out going down the road. All we could get was a couple used ones. I got both of them they had because they're the same tire, same height. We haven't changed the other side yet, so yeah, it leans this way. It was really leaning this way, like far enough that when the rake was up, that tire was bumping the ground. I don't know how much it had in it, but I put more in it than we usually put just so I can even it up. There's 20 pounds in it. Should be more like 16 or 18, but I don't know why it was low. Don't find nothing. And this thing, when we got it hooked up, these little tractors have, the PTO runs through the clutch, but it's either engaged and direct off the engine or goes the other way, and it's actually hooked up to the transmission, to the rear end. Ground speed, they call it. Well, somehow that lever got bumped into ground. So as soon as I started to move, and I hit a little bump, that silver rod right there, that's what holds the baskets in when they're folded down. It bounced down into the spinner and got caught, bent the shit out of it. I didn't have enough lead in my ass to straighten it. I tried, I put it in a vise, tried, gave up. I just spent 10 minutes with the press, rolling it around and squishing different spots to get it straight. And it's almost perfect, not quite, but almost good enough. And I still got to do something with the seat on this. There's 2 springs in that seat frame, and one broke a couple years ago. So if I sit on it, no matter where you set the seat, it's all the way down, and I can't get my feet high enough to, without sticking my knee up my nose, to get my foot on the clutch. So I was going to try to do something with that again. The way they're made, it's not like you can get into it. And then Becky says tomorrow she wants to run it, so that's fine with me. I don't care. I don't want to run it. But if I fix the seat, at least it'll be more comfortable for her. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Well, let's sew. There's a spring right in there. There's one on the other side too. One on the other side's broken though. The top's broke off it. We got the broken piece out, but the other's still in there. Why? Because you can't get them out. And I backed the tension off as far as I'm going to anyway. And I think the only way I'm going to get it out of there is pull this pin out. Hopefully it comes out. It may not choose to do that. Then I can raise the seat up a little bit. And then there will be physical room for the spring to come out, and I can see if I got one that will fit in there. So that's what I'm going to do. Believe it or not, that pin slid right out. I had to push the seat down a little bit because all the way up it wouldn't move far enough. Pushed it down about an inch, popped it out, and that fell out. So at least it broke where I got a good, nice, isn't it? I got something good for a sample anyway. See what I got. Well, I don't know if I said it. I ended up using that spring, heated it, and put a new loop in the end. I mean, it's half a ring shorter than it was. I think it's going to make any big deal. Pin went right back in. But this seat is always kind of set forward. And you would think, I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, you would think with all those freaking adjustment holes, there'd be a chance of a fine adjustment. That's great. The hole that bolt is in is the only hole in that row, and there's 2 holes in the other row. One is, instead of sitting there, it will sit there, and the next one literally would sit far enough that if I turn my phone that far, it's going to flip and it's going to go the other direction. The only other option, besides what I'm going to do, is to take it loose off the mount, but this is hard stuff, and it's on 2 machine surfaces and flat. Once I shim that up a half an inch, that's not going to be the best there. So I'm going to drill a new hole up there. I think that's about where it should be. It's in the same hole it was in, but farther over. And I don't want to go any farther than that because right there the cushion is actually leaned back, but once you get on it, it tips forward. that much, but that's still looking better. But if I go any farther than that, then the back's going to be back too far. But now I got to find batteries because Ty took all of them with her. And the only 2 batteries that are in the shop are on the charger charging because they're dead. So, yay, I got to go find where the others are. She even brought the weed eater in, and it's sitting over there, but there's no battery in it. So, and she's gone for the night. So, anyway, hopefully this isn't a pain in the ass to drill. I did find the right size drill bit, but I don't want to use a corded drill in here because it's longer and it won't fit. And I'm hoping that the DeWalt's going to fit in there like it needs to. Either that or I'm going to have to go to the angle drill, and that little bugger I hate using if I don't have to. So anyway, that's our day. I think we got a little past the last guess they made at 77 degrees. I'm going to guess that we're at 80 because it's cooler in here than it is out there, and it was 78 degrees in here a little bit ago. It's 80 degrees, 79.9. So yeah, we're probably 82 degrees out there. Gotta love it. I keep promising it's gonna cool down, it's gonna cool down. I'm not arguing about this for that hay drying, because that actually dried quite a bit today and yesterday. But, you know, it'd be nice to catch a breath. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope everybody had a great Sunday, and have a safe and happy Memorial Day. And remember what it's about.